Shabbat Shalom to Congregation Kol Ami and to all of our guests. We continue with our remote, but also oh so close Shabbat service. Tonight, Bob has me gazing into a blazing ring of light with a camera in it. Now, oddly enough, this actually makes me think of Jewish tradition. Who knew it? But in fact, there are blazing ring angels with eyes. Yes, they're called Ophanim, and the most famous of them is an angel called Sandalphon. So I hereby dub this device that Bob has just concocted here, Sandalphon. So here I am speaking to angels and humans, and we are beginning our Shabbat service. So what I'd like to do is turn this over to Lindsay, and if Lindsay would warm us up with a little bit of a wordless melody with a little nigun, to get us started for this evening and put us in the mood. I, on the other hand, am looking into the face of God. So off we go.
La la la. Oh, it says I'm muted. La 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 la
Congregation Kol Ami, we're going to begin with good and blessing, and I have them here in many printed and electronic modes. So let's begin by thanking our blessed and very special virtual minion, which consists of Neil Borg and Eileen Redwood, Steve and Alyssa Dukar, Samson and Casey Flackbaum, and Bob and Becky Leonard. We appreciate you helping to put this together. We also want to recognize the birthdays that have happened this week. So we are thinking with joy in the birthday and one day closer to death, one day more mature of Kristen Diamond, Ann Jacobs, Molly Marks, Allison McDaniel, forgive me, Elizabeth Morphis, and Teresa Sohn. We also want to think of the anniversaries, remarkable long-term marriages that are blessed and extraordinary. Mitch and Connie Kruger, what a wonderful team. Bill and Susan Lee, how awesome are they? And Roger and Connie Underwood, continuing to work together as love partners and business partners all these years. So all blessings to them. In addition, we have the following good and blessings coming to us from Kathy Polikoff. Alex, her son, has been accepted into the GT program next year at Capel Middle School. So mazel tov to him. Lauren Cordova reports that Casa Ekdova, that would be the home of her and Jacob, has temporarily expanded to include Jacob's long-term friend, Daryl. He will be hunkering down with us while the world is topsy-turvy, and we look forward to having many cooking adventures together. And Joey's ecstatic to have a new person to jabber at. Meredith and Art report that life is not quite normal yet, but it is still good. Families are well and happy that Passover has been relatively peaceful and tranquil. We'll be even more happy when flour is available again to make challah. Meredith, if you want to come down to my house, I have a whole bag of King Arthur, baking challah, you're more than welcome to take one home with you. Alyssa Ducar is grateful for her family and for a company that is embracing the concept of teleworking, thankful for being able to cherish this time with her mini tribe. Melissa Hart is good and a blessing that we have been able to start our gardening this year. Yes, Robin is very excited about the plants that are coming up in her backyard also. So that is great. And we have been blessed with such wonderful weather. If you have to be stuck at home, being able to go out into your front yard or backyard and be able to just sit and sip your coffee, it really is marvel. And then Casey reports that after a month of uncertainty with my father's health, he is up and walking around. That's a machaya, and his lab work shows that the coronavirus is finally out of his system. Yay. Still a long way to full recovery, but we are very thankful that he is out of the woods. We are all thankful for that. And Lindsay wants us to know that she has passed her thesis defense this very night. And now we can call her the Master Lev. So that's fantastic. Congratulations to all of you. So I would add to that I now clearly have 3 owlets in my owl house, and mother and father are proudly hanging about within a few yards of everything. And we're waiting for them to get serious about coming out and maybe poking around outside the owl house. So it's exciting times at the Dennis house. So there are wonderful things, blessed things happening all over the world. And we want to welcome this blessed Sabbath with the kindling of Shabbat lights. Once again, it will fall to me to, actually, I bet Becky could do this. Becky is here with us physically tonight. And so I'm going to ask Becky if she would do the honor of kindling Shabbat lights.
I'd love to.
There we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Adonai, whose presence fills the world, who hallows us with mitzvot and inspires us to kindle Shabbat lights. May God bless us with Shabbat joy. May God bless us with Shabbat holiness. May God bless us with Shabbat peace. Amen. You can't shake my hand.
I can't. Yasher Koach.
Yasher Koach, stay 6 feet away.
Right? And Lindsay, would you take up your post and lead us in Kiddush for tonight?
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei bari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'ratzon hinhilanu zikaron le'maaseh bereshit ki hu yom tehillah le'mikra'ei kodesh zeh letziat mitzrayim ki banu v'aharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'ratzon hinhaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim, everyone. And we are going to turn to Kabbalat Shabbat. And we are going to begin with Psalm 95 in English. And then Lindsay is going to lead us in Shiru Ladonai from Psalm 96 on the next page. So we begin with Psalm 95. Lehuneranana Ladonai. Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai and raise a shout for our rock and our deliverer. Come, let us enter God's presence with praise, and let us raise a shout for God in song. For Adonai is supreme, the sovereign over all beings. We turn now to Psalm 96 in Shiru Ladonai.
שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שירו ליל חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, ועזרו מיום ליום ישועתו, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, ועזרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, שירו שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ.
Oh, let the heavens rejoice and the earth exult. Let the sea and all that is in it thunder. The fields and everything in them exult. And then shall all the trees of the forest shout for joy at the presence of Adonai. For God is coming to rule the earth. God will rule the world justly and its people faithfully. We turn now to Psalm 29. Havud Ladonai b'nei Elim. Ready, Lindsay?
Adonai ozamo yitin, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom.
Ascribe to Adonai, you children of God. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name, and worship Adonai in the beauty that is holiness. May Adonai give strength to this people, and may Adonai bless this people with peace. We're going to continue on now with Lecha Dodi to welcome the Sabbath into our midst. As is the custom, if you're able, you should rise and turn to the west when we reach the final stanza. If that's not physically convenient, it's just fine. All right, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת להובנלה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נשואה, סוף מעשה במחשבתי לה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בעודך קומי אורי, 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 שבטה ביני, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. להדודי, להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. אוהי ושלום מעטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה, בואי הלאה, בואי הלאה. להדודי, להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. להדודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
So come in peace, you crown of your husband, with rejoicing and with joy. To those who are faithful, a treasured people, come, O Sabbath, come, O bride. And now we continue with Psalm 92, the psalm for the Sabbath, a psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to give thanks to Adonai and to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a harp, with voice and lyre in unison. And the righteous, they shall bloom like a palm. They shall thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. We continue now with the chanting of Chatzi Kaddish.
יתקדש ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא יברהירותי וימליך מלכותי, והיכון וביומכון ובהיכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמירה במברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל, שמי קדושה בריהו, לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונהמתה, זמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
Now with your heart turned towards Jerusalem, if you're able, please rise and we recite the Baruch Hu. with the reciting of Ma'ariv Aravim, the one who causes the evening to fall. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim, v'chochma poteach sha'arim, u'bitvuna mishaneh itim, u'machalif et hazmanim, u'msader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kerotzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'hoshech mipnei or, umavdil bein yom uvein hoshech v'hoshech mipnei or, umevi yom umevin laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Praised are you who makes the evening fall. And unending is your love for your people, the house of Israel. Torah, mitzvot, laws, and precepts you've taught us. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and as we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and rejoice in your Torah and mitzvot forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life and the length of our days. And then your love shall never depart from our hearts. Blessed is Adonai, who loves the people Israel. And now Lindsay's going to lead us in the Shema and the V'ahavta. Now with Emet ve'emunah, true and enduring, beloved and precious, awesome, good and beautiful is this eternal teaching. This truth we hold to be forever certain. Adonai is our ruler, the rock of Jacob, the shield of our salvation. Adonai, our God, you redeemed us from Egypt. You set us free from the house of bondage. For this, the people who felt your love sang songs of praise to you. Living God, high and exalted, mighty and awesome, who humbles the proud and raises the lowly, who frees the captive and redeems the oppressed, who is the answer to all who cry out to God. All praise to God Most High, the source of blessing. And like Moses and Israel, we sing this song of rejoicing. We turn now to the Micha, Mocha, and Lindsay.
Lai 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 mi hammo haba elim Adonai mi hammo hared al kodesh nora tehilot osefele nora tehilot osefele מלכות טהרה ובניה, בוקע ים לפני משה. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
We continue now with Hashkivenu, our prayer asking God to watch over us and protect us in his sheltering protection while we endure this particular trial. Hashkivenu. Grant that we lie down in peace, Adonai our God, and tomorrow raise us up, O sovereign, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, and for your name's sake, be our help. Shield us from hatred and plague. Keep us from war, famine, and anguish, and subdue our inclination to evil. O God, our guardian and helper, our gracious and merciful sovereign, give us refuge in the shadow of your wings. O guard our coming and our going, that always we have life and peace. We praise you, O God, whose sukkah of peace is spread over us, over all your people, Israel, and over Jerusalem. We come now to the next part of our service, to Tefillah, our praises to God for being the God of our ancestors, our God, close to us, as well as a transcendent God who stands above all of the bitterness of our time. So we continue with Tefillah. Again, turn your heart towards Jerusalem, and if you're able, please rise.
Adonai, open up my lips and my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, העליון גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוהר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך חוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה, אתה גיבור עולם אלמי, מחיי הכל אתה ומושיע, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני אחר, מחמוך בעל גבורות, ומזרום עיניו, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, למען אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעלו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Holy, your name is holy, and all who strive to be holy daily sing your praise. Praised are you, the holy God. Please be seated. And we're going to invite Lindsay to lead us in the blessing for Shabbat, Vishamru. If you have your prayer book, it's on the top of page 21, but I'm guessing almost all of you know it. Vishamru, the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, observing it in every generation as an eternal covenant.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל, עוד תהי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We continue with great say, may it be your will. Adonai, our God, show favor towards your people Israel and lovingly receive our prayers. May the worship of your people always be acceptable to you, for you alone do we hold in reverence. Moedim, thanksgiving. And we give thanks to you, Adonai, our God, the God of our ancestors. You are the rock of our lives, the shield of our salvation for all generations. We thank you and we recite your praises. Let all the living affirm you and praise your name as the God of our salvation and help. Praised are you, Adonai. Goodness is your name. All praises to you. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, lecha ne'eh lahodot. We're going to close out this part of our service with Shalom Rav, and then I'm going to invite you to just take a few moments for your own prayers and reflections. But first, Shalom Rav with Lindsay.
Shalom Rav al Israel amha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel amha tasim leolam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lehol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon lehol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Israel amha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel amha tasim leolam. Betov beinei halevarei et amha Israel, et voleit ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav al Israel amha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Israel amha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
We're going to continue now with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel. 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 Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel, ve'imru amen.
Well, we've been at this for what, 4 weeks, perhaps 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And I have to say, nothing about our situation invokes more pathos and more sadness for me than death, which seems almost a cliche to say, but the truth of the matter is it's different now. It's so different to be able to not be able to draw close to people, to not to be able to see their faces when they share their sad news, and to be able to respond with a face of empathy and sadness, to have to receive these messages as I do over the phone or in a text. It's the very antithesis of what Jews strive for in a time of sadness. We seek closeness, and yet the time demands we separate ourselves from it. A rabbi I know actually calls this muted mourning, which is a kind of a two-layered double entendre, both on the idea that we have to use Zoom to talk to each other, but oftentimes we're also muting each other as we go. It seems truncated, it seems sad, and it seems remote. But it's also, unfortunately, painfully close to our Torah portion, invoking a scene where survivors are in fact not permitted to fully mourn their dead. And that is true of this entire portion. It cuts very close to our experience now. In the midst of a global pandemic, our Torah portion, Shmini, could not in many ways be more relevant. The ancient wisdom of the Torah reminds us a key lesson that stands out in our circumstances. And that is that under certain conditions, as much as we believe as human beings that this is what we should be doing, what we need to be doing, getting too close can prove to be deadly. For as it is said in our Torah portion, it tells of the 2 sons of Aaron who died because they drew too close to the altar of God. Maintaining a respectful social distance now is the key to survival, as apparently it was then. Our Torah portion also reminds us of the subsidiary dangers of arrogance, heedless self-interest, indifference to following rules, disregard for the communal welfare, and even problems that can arise in the absence of a wise and measured leadership at a moment of high risk and danger. This is one that we struggle with, this Torah portion. It's familiar and yet it's troubling. Moses and Aaron have completed the building of the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary. And now everyone is celebrating. They're bringing offerings as commanded by God to the altar at the tent of meeting. And God responds by sending down a fire which consumes these offerings. And Moses and Aaron are so pleased. They bless the people, and the people themselves are so moved in awe, they fall on their faces and they show reverence and celebration for the fact that the sacred community is now complete. Then, just when everything seems to be trending so well, Nadav and Avihu, the two sons of Aaron, newly ordained priests themselves, supremely self-confident, are seized by the fervor of the moment. They rush forward, grabbing their own implements and marching up to the altar, making an offering that has not been authorized, a strange or alien fire, we are told, and instantly they too are consumed by divine fire, just as the offerings were moments earlier. Moses says, this is what God meant when God said that through those near me, I will make my holiness known. Nadav and Avihu played with fire and literally got burned. And Aaron, their father, is commanded by their uncle Moses to be silent. His mourning is to be muted. It is a terrible, seemingly unnecessary tragedy. And many have tried to suggest plausible reasons for why these two young men deserved their fate. Some say that the sons had sinned, offering a sacrifice that was either not authorized or perhaps even strictly forbidden. Others, drawing on nearby verses, suggest that they were reckless because they were drunk, or at least they were drunk with power. Regardless, the rabbis seek multiple ways to find a justification for this horrible death. Maybe they suggest also that they had no real sense of what it meant to be a priest. But in the end, there's no consensus. And perhaps we should judge these men less than we try to do so. Certainly we know from our own times that tragic and premature death stalks everyone, both young and old, both the guilty and the blameless. And while it is easy to blame these young men for their refusal to heed the warnings or the rules, there are other ways to read this ancient text in wisdom. Indeed, as we reflect on the many who have received or earned communal disdain during this pandemic for their refusal to heed warnings or rules of physical distancing, nevertheless, my colleague, James Bennett, suggests we are perhaps looking in the wrong direction. We should consider, he says, perhaps that the absence of other people, of clear and wise leadership, the inattention of Moses and Aaron had a role that must be acknowledged. Those in positions of authority may have failed to inform or to publicly and clearly articulate the dangers involved, or refuse to model for us in their own lives the authentic practices that they meant to promote to others. And so perhaps Moses and Aaron bear some of the guilt of this crisis. Moses even seems to suggest this. He suggests their own culpability when he reminds Aaron of the lessons that they sadly learned in this tragic loss. And Aaron's silence bears witness, perhaps, to his own sense of responsibility for having caused this tragedy. At difficult times like this, the Torah's wisdom seems to almost haunt us as much as it does help us. As we watch around us and we hear of far away, remotely, sudden deaths, fatalities of people who drew too close that could have been avoided by decisive action, careful planning, effective communication and foresight, we learn, kind of belatedly, from the experience of generations before us. We see through an ancient lens that holiness and responsibility walk hand in hand. And we pray that we can learn the lessons of this Torah portion and our Torah before it's too late for us. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So it's time for our announcements, and lo and behold, we have our president right here in the space. I will gingerly shuffle aside as she takes over.
Ooh, that is bright. Good evening. I thought I'd be here in person tonight, staying socially distant from Rabbi, but connected to my husband. Yet another Friday evening that we do this virtually apart, yet together, as so many Jews across the world right now celebrate their Shabbats. Rabbi has started a new series that we're going to start for adult education tomorrow morning at 11. If you go to the live stream page, you can click for Rabbi's discussion on the Netflix limited series called Unorthodox. It was an amazing limited series, and it should generate a lot of really interesting conversation tomorrow. Also tomorrow evening, we have Havdalah and the CKA Storytellers, which begins at 7:30 tomorrow night. Once again, these are all links on the live stream page. We hope you join us. Havdalah is such a lovely service, and the CKA Storytellers have worked super hard to be able to share their stories with everyone tomorrow night. Religious school continues on Sunday. We're slowly but surely getting the hang of this, and we really appreciate everyone's patience. The kids have been fabulous, and the teachers have been real troopers adapting to new technology in this ever-changing world right now. And then again, on Monday night, we have the program that Dr. Fripp has put together, from Light from Darkness, which begins Monday at 7. And so we will continue our normal cycle of story time on Tuesdays and sing along on Thursdays. And then we'll just take a pulse of everyone after those this week and see where we are with some of these new programs and if we continue them or not. That is all I have for this evening. I hope you guys had a great week, and I hope you have a wonderful Shabbat.
Thank you, Madam President. All right, now is the time we take a moment to think of all those people who are sick, all those people who are ailing in body or spirit. This is a time of trial for all of us. So in some ways, saying the Mishaberach is a prayer we're saying for ourselves every bit as much as we're saying for those we love. But we do have a list of people we want to think about, and I'm going to read them right now. And if you have a name or two that you want to add to this, take a moment to click on chat and post those names to Bob, and he will share them with us out loud. But the names I have right now, people that we want to pray for, who would benefit from the blessing of the Holy One who has blessed our ancestors, are Anna Binder, Sid Binder, Maury Boardman, Jerry D. Cagle, Ralph Candelaria Jr., Dave Cook, Gladys Doolin, Harry Enneman, Michelle Griffith, Dr. Mel Gross, Judy Horowitz, Deb Kaufman, Alex Koenig, Lauren Koenig, Bill Lee, Sandy Lensner, Judy Morisak, Don Neal, Bruce Nedich, and Adrian Sandler, and Ben Weisbard. Is there anyone else who has a name that they want to share with us to include in our prayers?
No other ones.
Nobody right now. Okay. Well, we're thinking of them and all the people who you know in your heart are suffering. And we ask Lindsay to lead us in the Mishaberach. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all who are sick.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishabera imotenu it, and let us say Amen.
Go to the closing elements of our service with Aleinu and Kaddish. Normally, I like to invite somebody up. I've been making Becky work so hard, and I think Bob has to stay at his station. So come on, Becky. We're going to make you do it anyway. So, all right. You get to open, I'll stand back here. How about that?
That's fine.
Yeah, I think that's the one. There we go. Page 82, Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabbat.
לשבח לבון הכל, לצאת גאולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו גהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אינו, אין אמתנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, והשבות האלה לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
It's time for us now to remember all those people who've passed away, those whose yahrzeits or anniversaries of death occur this week, but also with special poignancy, those who are observing Shiva and Shloshim, people who have not been able to be present with loved ones when they've passed away or have not been able to gather directly to honor them in death. We think of these people with special love and affection and support for their trauma and their sadness. So we think of Dr. Charles Paley and his family, who is mourning for his mother, Sybil Paley, who's died in the last week. Anybody have any names that they would like to add to that list?
Debbie Melnick, cousin of Amanda Levin Russo.
Debbie Melnick, cousin of Amanda Russo. I'm so sorry for your loss under these circumstances. For Shloshim, also people who find themselves separated from those who have passed away. We think of Valerie Brown, the family friend of Leonard's, and Sheila Scholar, the cousin of Bruce Cohen. Other Shloshim?
No other names have come in, no.
So for our yahrzeits this week, we remember Mabel Baker, Reuben Brooks, Barbara Christie, Donald Merrill Dietz, Riva Virgo Dietz, Becky Glick, Abraham Graber, Ann Katz, Moshe Lubarsky, Louis Polikoff, and Dorothy Bucci Willington.
And Leonel Gutierrez.
Leonel Gutierrez also. We add their names to those of our loved ones and our own, and we join together, if able, to rise and recite Kaddish to show our deepest sympathy for those who mourn. May their memories of their loved ones override and extinguish the tragedy of their current circumstances. So together, We recite Kaddish, page 85. Yitgada. Uvchaye the Chol Beit Israel, Bagalal Ubizman Kariv Vimru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Ve'olam Ulamei Almaya. Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitbar V'yitrumam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmei Dekutsha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbachata V'nechemata Damiran Be'alma V'yimru Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Mim Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Osei Shalom Bimroma Uyaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who are mourning and comfort all the bereaved among us, and let us say Amen. So Lindsay, as it happens, you and I did not talk about a closing song, so whatever is at your fingertips will be our closing song. What do you got?
All right, I've got Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem would be a wonderful one. We welcome the angels of peace into our homes and into our lives at this very unpeaceful time. Let's do Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boahem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruni Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seirhem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We wish peace to you, you ministering angels, both immortal and human, messengers of the Most High, Majesty of majesties, the Holy One of blessing. We ask you to come in peace, bless us all with peace, and go in peace. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Kitty.
Shalom.
I'm sorry, I'm
All right,
distracted
I have to
looking at
take a
Stephen's
picture of this
cat.
device.